different civil society organizations across the continent. And we deployed in 21 missions across all 9 provinces of South Africa with the view of monitoring these elections and with the purpose of ensuring that the elections were conducted in a free, fair, transparent manner, and that at the end, the result would reflect the will and the wish of the people of South Africa. So that was our mission, that was our objective.
Given this important mandate, how does the mission balance its role with principles of non-interference with member states and impartiality and independence for the observation?
For a start, we are not involved in the elections. We are here to observe. We are observers during the elections. We are not here to dictate terms. We are not here to take sides. We are not here to influence elections. Like I said in my opening statement, we are here, and our objective is that the processes and the manner in which the election is conducted will ultimately reflect the wish of the people of South Africa. Yeah? So we are not here in any way whatsoever, and that the elections do meet best practice standards. And if there are areas that we think a country could improve, we make recommendations. But vice versa also happens. There are areas that we see that we can learn best practices which can be copied in other African countries.
Your Excellency, are you able to share what are some of those areas?
Well, let me say that as far as this election goes, we can generally say without fear of favor, we think that the election was done credibly. We think the IEBC did handle themselves in a transparent manner. We acknowledge that there were a number of challenges, logistical challenges in terms of delay, maybe in opening stations, which we noted. We observed, for example, there were problems with the voter identification kits, which also resulted in delays. We noted again, for example, that ballot boxes were not properly marked in some instances, which could lead to potential confusion. We noted also, for example, that there were problems with people identifying with the new law. So we saw quite a number of people who were not familiar with the new electoral reform and did not know, for example, that they could not vote in the same way they voted in 2019. And they reported to stations only to be told that this time around you have to go to the station that, you know, so voter education we thought maybe needed to be enhanced in order for voters to have a better understanding of where they are voting. We also noted, for example, that maybe some of the polling stations were overloaded, which resulted also in long queues and delays, and maybe the need in future for more polling stations so that you can reduce the number of people that are being handled at each station and create greater efficiency, speed, and less waiting time on the part of voters. Those are some of the things that we thought could be rectified. I think we also, on the other side, noted good practices. For example, the process of verification of votes all the way from casting votes, agents and party agents being allowed to oversee from counting all the way through to transmission, so that before a result is put, it has been thoroughly scrutinized by not only political parties, but also by independent auditors. That was one good practice that we saw. The engagement of the IEC with stakeholders and political parties is another thing that we thought was quite well handled. The speedy manner in which litigation was resolved and it did not stop the election from occurring, I think, is also the need for speed in resolving litigation. I think that was also a plus. So, like I said, there are pluses and there are minuses. There are those recommendations that we make when we feel that there are areas that could be strengthened, and we make those recommendations. But there are those areas that we think we can take with us and impart as best practices for other African countries as well.
You have highlighted some of the important areas of your work. Can you briefly then share your experiences on observing the South African national and provincial elections?
There is no election that doesn't have its challenges, as I've just mentioned. Yeah, but overall, I can say that the election that was held in South Africa is a true reflection of the will of the people of South Africa. And when you say that, you must say, therefore, that the election, despite challenges, was conducted in a relatively good manner. And our hope and our prayer is that democracy is an ongoing process, that by the time you come to the next one, you know, all these challenges which may have been associated with, you know, the change in law, additional ballots, you know, you've learned this through this election, and the next one will definitely be that much better.
Thank you very much for that, His Excellency. Looking ahead, what are some of the key priorities and initiatives that the mission plans to undertake?
As far as our mission now comes to an end on the day of the announcement, we shall now prepare a detailed report, which will be available on the AU Commission website. You'll be able to see the detailed report. We were able to release the preliminary report and the more detailed report that will clearly state the issues that we observed and the recommendations that have been made by our team.
Thank you very much for taking time off your busy schedule to speak to Parliament TV. It's really much appreciated.
Thank you very much. And on my part, mine is just to really take this opportunity to congratulate the people of South Africa. I congratulate them for the manner in which they showed patience in their long lines. Despite the delays, they were patient and ready to wait to exercise their democratic right. They were peaceful. And my hope and prayer is that that will extend into the future, and that this election will result in greater prosperity and the betterment of South Africa and her people.
Welcome back to Parliament TV. Those are the members at the CTICC, where the CTICC has been declared as a parliamentary precinct for the first National Assembly sitting. Of course, members are getting ready, they're interacting with each other, and this is right after there were two nominees for the position of Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly.
And that action taking place there is members using it to wait for the resumption of the House. Where we'll see the Deputy, we'll see the Speaker presiding over this election of the Deputy Speaker. And currently the ballots are being printed. We know that the ballots will contain two names, that of Mr. Zingula and that of Dr. Anilin Lottery. But just to give you a brief on the role of the Deputy Speaker, we know that this position is contained in the Constitution, which allows for the creation of the Deputy Speaker within the office of the Speaker. And the Deputy Speaker presides over the House plenaries. The Deputy Speaker also has the responsibility of deputizing the Speaker. As remember, you would have seen that before the end of the 6th Parliament, unfortunately, the Speaker left, and then we had the Deputy Speaker taking over the role of the acting Speaker. As I mentioned, that it entails, the role of the Speaker entails performing the functions of the Speaker if the Speaker, for whatever reason, is unable to. Just what I spoke to now, we saw that with the election, we saw that with the acting Speaker, Deputy Tsinori, when the Speaker, the former Speaker, could not perform a function, and the Deputy Speaker has the responsibility of ensuring the smooth running of some of the parliamentary projects delegated to him or her, and attend to correspondence referred to by the Speaker and advise the Speaker accordingly. Of course, the Deputy Speaker has many other roles that she or he plays within the institution.
And of course, these roles that the Deputy Speaker performs are delegated by the Speaker. In addition to the duties assigned to this Deputy Speaker in terms of any legislation or the rules or orders, insofar as they pertain to the office of the Speaker, the following responsibilities are assigned. State institutions supporting democracy, members' facilities and training, PAR Med medical aid scheme, sectorial parliaments, parliamentary villages, implementation of Parliament's language policy, and public education and relations, and more. Clearly, Teminkosi, the role of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, their functions are pivotal in ensuring the smooth running of the House.
And Sapalonda Yanceda, Lendela explaining role Deputy Speaker, Yanceda also for Umdongayazi, uba kanye sino Speaker, ithini role ka Speaker. You have outlined the Speaker has a very pivotal role, as you have said, to play in the National Assembly. We know that the Speaker, in the absence, the Deputy Speaker rather, in the absence of the Speaker, then assumes the role of the Speaker. Sibonile londi senzeka kule Parliament esisuka kuyo. Wabo basibukele emakhaya, you are still watching Parliament TV on channel 408, and this is a live broadcast of the first sitting of the National Assembly of the 7th Parliament, and we have seen that already we have a newly elected Speaker, Ms. Toko Didiza. Eyona nto ngokutsepe esibambezele esilindele kuyo is the printing of the ballot of the ballot papers that contains the 2 names of the nominees for the position of the Deputy Speaker. Once that is done, I'm sure we'll hear when the bell rings indicating the resumption of the House, and then members will then be able to cast their votes secretly. Abahlabe bebonile ababukeli bethu pha ngokuba babonisa uba kwenzeka ntoni ngaphakathi eNational Assembly, uba i-voting booths ziredi, members majority yazo sezingaphakathi. So it's just a matter of time where we start hearing that bell ringing and calling all the members back to the House.
Because it's important that we remind viewers that the reason why the proceedings have been suspended is because those ballot papers have to be printed, and this shows that Parliament does not have any preemptive idea of what is going to happen within the proceedings. Of course, this means that the whole procedure is protected. The integrity of the procedure is protected. Of course, then after this, like you said, members will be able to cast their election. Members will be able to cast their vote like we did and on the 29th of May, 2024. And of course, this is a reflection of a democratic state where members are also allowed within the National Assembly to practice their democratic right of voting for their preferred candidate.
This is the best reflection of our country's democracy. There's no way. Uyayibona na uba kwenzeka ntoni ngaphakathi, sibonile amagama amaninzi ephakanyiswa, kodwa ke we are still watching this, we are still waiting for the National Assembly to resume for the election of the Deputy Speaker. As we had shown you earlier, that everything seems to be ready. The booth, well, the voting booths are there. Members will be making their way in. Like as I said earlier, that there are 2 candidates nominated for the Deputy Speaker. One is Honorable Vuyolwethu Zungula, and the other one is Dr. Annelien Lotriet of the Democratic Alliance. Of course, Mr. Zungula is the leader of the African Transformation Movement. So we're waiting to see when the members come back on who is going to be the Deputy Speaker of the 7th administration. The House is now suspended for the printing of the ballots before the commencement of the vote for the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. We will be taking you into the chamber as soon as the House resumes.
But in the meantime, Temikosa, I think it's important that we look at why the mace was not there when the Chief Justice was presiding over those proceedings for the election of the Speaker. And now that the Speaker has been elected, the mace was put up. Let's take a look at this.
Building our great South African nation together.
The mace is a symbol of the authority of the National Assembly. It is carried into the chamber by the Sergeant-at-Arms and announces the arrival of the Speaker of the National Assembly. It signifies that the House is formally in session and that its proceedings are official. Standing at 1.196 meters and weighing 9.86 kilograms, the current mace is a representation of South Africa's democracy. The new mace was designed to reflect the history, tradition, diversity, culture, and languages of South Africa. The mace also celebrates the country's natural beauty, its plant and animal life, and its rich mineral resources. Each element was carefully chosen with this in mind. Though it appears to be a single unit, the mace was made and fitted in sections on an aluminium core. At the head of the mace is an 18-karat gold drum covered in springbok skin, which in turn is attached to the drum by 18 buttons made from South African minerals and gemstones. On top of the drum rests a book made from gold on which, in raised text, is an extract from the preamble to the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. The drum features images of South Africans going about their daily business. Some of the depictions that can be seen on the drum is a miner, saxophonist, machinist, architect, builder, soccer player, forklift driver, scientist, teacher, doctor, domestic worker, a woman with a baby on her back and a hoe in her hand, a woman driving a tractor, and children reading and working. The images are designed to look like African woodcuts and were chiseled by hand to create a three-dimensional look. The drum is fitted on a gold neck illustrated with dancing sand figures. 3 platinum discs in decreasing size connect the head of the mace to the shaft. The shaft is made of aluminium and inlaid with cherry and box wood. The top of the shaft is encircled by an 18-karat gold band with 6 black and 6 white half-carat diamonds set into it. Beneath this is the South African coat of arms in full-color enamel. 2/3 from the top of the mace is a beaded South African flag. The white on the flag is represented by 800 platinum or white gold beads, the yellow by 70 yellow gold beads, and the red, green, blue and black by colored glass beads. Before the mace tapers to the end is another gold band of 6 black and 6 white diamonds, and then another band of platinum. The shape of the mace recalls the Nobgiri, an African symbol of defense, authority, and leadership. The drum, which forms the head of the mace, is an expression of the African tradition of using drums to call people together for a meeting. It's also a reminder that South Africa's transition to democracy was achieved through dialogue, with Parliament serving as a place where many different voices are heard. Gold is one of the core ingredients in the mace. Archaeological finds show that gold has been mined and used in African culture for centuries. Its use in the mace symbolizes the country's natural wealth and also the ancient indigenous gold mining traditions. The open book on top of the drum symbolizes the Constitution of South Africa and the principles around which Parliament functions. The Constitution is the supreme law of the country and plays a central role in the development of the new South Africa. This is echoed in its position at the top of the mace. The writing on the open pages of the book is the first line of the preamble to the Constitution in each of the 11 official languages and 1 line from an extinct Khoisan language. The platinum rings found at intervals along the shaft of the mace recall the rings worn by Ndebele women. Under the first set of platinum rings, at the base of the drum, is an image of 2 Khoisan taken from the Linton stone. a world-famous example of South African rock art dating back at least 20,000 years. The image is a symbol of social interaction, coherence, and interdependence, all elements needed for a country such as South Africa to grow and prosper. The result of all this is a mace that recalls the past, mirrors the present, and looks forward to the future.
Welcome back to the City ICC, where we are watching the first sitting of the National Assembly. Of course, members are taking their seats, the bells are ringing, and they are called to come through to the chamber so that proceedings may go underway. Now, of course, two members have been nominated. This is Mr. Violetu Zungula, who was nominated by Mr. Shivambu, and this was seconded by Mr. Mahlati. And then the second nominee is Dr. Annelie Lotrit, who was nominated by Ms. Warube, and this was seconded by Ms. van der Walt.
Yes, and as we are seated here, we can hear the bell ringing outside, which indicates that in less than 10 minutes the House will resume. As you can see also on the screen, with the members walking in, some seated, some making the last phone calls as we wait for the resumption of the House. But the voting booths are ready, which means as soon as the House resumes, then the Speaker will then facilitate the election and the voting of the Deputy Speaker position.
We have new and old members of Parliament, and the most important part of having new and young members of Parliament is that we are celebrating Youth Day on the 16th of June on Sunday. And of course, tomorrow the NCOP is scheduled to sit for their first sitting, just as the SCP has announced in his media briefing yesterday. Parliament is ready and members are being registered as they make their way to Cape Town from their respective provinces.
And as you've just seen on your screen, that some of our young members of Parliament that will be shaping the direction that the country should be taking, and you can see there the chairperson of the African National Congress, Mr. Mantashe, and some of the ANC members there, Mr. David Matlobo, Ms. Nokuzola Tolashe. There's seen quite a few old members, and though we have a pretty mix, we have a nice mix of members. You have the old members, you have the new members, and amongst the new members, you have younger members as well.
And I love how this is just in line with Youth Month and obviously the celebration of Youth Day. Obviously, this is a highlight of the youth of 1976 and their struggle and of course their achievements. It's really the reason why we have the youth within decision-making, within policy-making processes such as the National Assembly.
And this is a live broadcast of the first sitting of the National Assembly. We've had the Speaker elected, Ms. Thoko Didiza. She's the 5th woman Speaker of the National Assembly. And right now, we are expecting the vote for the Deputy Speaker to kick on as soon as the House resumes.
Teminkosi, it's important to note that the reason why we have the new Speaker of the National Assembly is because the Chief Justice, Chief Raymond Zondo, he presided over the proceedings of the nomination and election of the Speaker of the National Assembly. Of course, we saw similar images playing out when we had that nomination and election, where proceedings had to be suspended because ballots had to be printed, where members had to come back to issue and cast their vote for their preferred candidate, and where the Chief Justice finally announced the new Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Thoko Didiza.
And as we're sitting here and waiting, we're hoping to hear later on the Speaker of the National Assembly announcing the new Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. Just for our viewers at home, and to clarify this again, we have Parliament, and Parliament has two houses, the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. And today's sitting is focused on the National Assembly. The National Council of Provinces, as you have indicated earlier. We will be dealing with that one tomorrow. So today we have not elected a Speaker of Parliament. Parliament doesn't have a Speaker, but the National Assembly has a Speaker. So we just elected the Speaker of the National Assembly, and now we are waiting the election of the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly.
Of course, it has been a long day, and members are in the chamber. They're interacting, engaging with each other, waiting for the secret ballots, to cast their secret ballots for their preferred candidate. Of course, we mentioned earlier that there are 2 nominations for the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, and that is Mr. Violet Zungula from the ATM. He's the president of the ATM, in fact, and Dr. Annelie Blotrit, who is from the Democratic Alliance.
And just to remind our viewers that nomination of Violet Zungula came from the Deputy President of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Mr. Floyd Shivambu, and that the nomination of Dr. Annelie Blotrit as the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly came from the Democratic Alliance benches. So wait to see that as soon as the House resumes. As you can see that in your screen there, that the voting booths, they are preparing the voting booths, which are already on the floor. So we are hoping that at any given moment now, the House will resume.
And of course, it's important to mention the importance of the role of the Chief Justice in the earlier proceedings when the members they nominated and elected the Speaker of the National Assembly. Of course, the new National Speaker of the new Speaker of the National Assembly is the one who presided over the nominations and elections of the Deputy Speaker. Now, talking about the youth and their integration in the National Assembly, let's look at this promotion of Youth Month and the Youth Day that will be celebrated on 16 June 2024.
Quality and limited access to resources.
May we please be seated? We shall now proceed with the voting. Assistant Returning Officers will now show that the ballot boxes are empty and close them. Thank you very much. The procedure of voting is as follows. According to the rules for the conduct of this meeting, in terms of Item 9 of Schedule 3 of the Constitution, 1 ballot paper with the official mark must be issued to every member present and eligible to vote at this meeting. Members will be called in alphabetical order according to their surnames. When their names are called, members must collect a ballot paper from the voting table. As previously mentioned, members of the National Assembly must swear or affirm faithfulness to the Republic and obedience to the Constitution before they can perform their functions, and therefore, members who have not been sworn in will not be called. As you know, all of you who are here have already been sworn in. After collecting a ballot paper, each member must proceed to one of the ballot booths and must record his or her vote by placing a cross against the name of the candidate for whom he or she desires to vote in the space provided on the ballot paper. After making the mark on the ballot paper and while still in the booth, members must fold their ballot paper in such a manner that the official mark thereon is visible to the assistant returning officers at the ballot box. Honorable member, in the earlier voting, it was recorded that 9 votes were actually spoiled ballot votes because of various reasons. One of those is the mark that has been recorded in the space allocated for voting. I just want to advise members that when voting, we do not use a tick, we actually cross, make an X. it does not mean you do not want that person. So I'm just advising members so that we appreciate that when we do the voting, we mark a cross instead of a tick. After the assistant returning officer has noted the official mark on the ballot paper, members should deposit it in the ballot box and resume their seats. Honorable members, the returning officers will now call upon members to vote.
Abrahams, ALA, Adams, F, Adams, RC, Alexander, WR, Apiri, MJ, Atkinson, PG, Ocamp, WAS, Bahrain, M, Bab, TEV. Bartlett, M, Passon, LJ, Bateman, AG, Bath, EM, Beasley, AD, Bergman, D, Bila, TJ, Bilankulu, NK, Bloss, MB, Botlani, TK.
It pushes me back. You get used to it. But it is scary. And I nearly fell at the City Hall. When I came back, it was on.
Bolman NJ, Boshielo SP, Boshoff WJ, Vortius A, Breitenbach G, Buyuk MJ, Benz Ngamasha Z, Butelezi EM, Butelezi NZ, Butelezi SA.
Kanyile, TA, Kaula, MS, Kojane, SG, Kumalo, JQ, Klopper, DD, Cover, MP, Kola, D.
Kumani, LM, Kurnov, GW, Krier, HCC, Kubai, MT, Kumbaka, AN, Kwankwa, NLS, Labaskachni, C, Lamola, RO, LaRue, KWD, Lachuta, MD.
Lekhanyane MS, Letape MS, Letape TKS, Letie WT, Letike MSE, Ligaraba LE, Linde E, Lorima JRB, Lotrit A, Low STD. Lucas S.E. Lutuli B.N. Mabe B.P. Mabena T.B. Machi B.E. Macpherson D.W. Madigizela B.S. Maduna N. Maeko S.M.
Magagula T.E. Mahambehlala T. Mahlangu S.S. Mahlatsi L.W. Mahlawule M.G. Mahlobo M.D. Mahumapelo S.O.R. Maloila P.R. Maimane M.A.
Order, honorable members. Can we converse a bit lower so that you can hear your voices when they are called? Your names, rather, when they are called.
Maimela KJ, Majodina PCP, Majozi Z, Makasi N, Mahato MP, Makubera LS, Malatsi MS, Malema JS, Malimacha CN, Managa L, Manamela KB, Maneli BM, Mandasha GS, Manyi M, Mautwe OMC, Marais EJ, Marais P, Mahau TL, Masango PS. Maseko LM, Masemula ND, Mashabela NR, Mashatile SP, Mashele TV, Masina MC, Masondo D, Maswanganyi MJ, Matabata CS.
Matafa OM, Matale CC, Matulelwa B, Mathias L, Matiase NS, Matsone NWA, Mbio IM. Mackenzie G, Maklua JJ, Mchunu ES, Mchunu TVB, Mdluli MM, Mente Nkuna NV, Meshwe KRJ, Meth N.
Gcina PS, Mgweba T, Mahawule MR, Mhlawuli NB, Mhlongo NH, Mikalakis G, Milham KJ.
Mkalipi HO, Mkize ZN, Mkonto CN, Mkwebane BJ, Mkutu L, Mulutsane ML, Mwango MA, Nganga Tabashe LA. 。
Gcina PS, Mgweba T, Mahawule MR, Mkonto CN, Mkuthu L, Mulutsane ML, Nganga Tabashe LA. 。
Mudisempia M, Moela MS, Mufukeng ML, Morale TP, Mohai SJ, Mushala MR, Mukwena JL, Mukwena LG, Mulwele NA. Muntwedi MK, Mua SJ, Moraka AT, Murolong IK, Musikatsi S, Mutsecha MA, Mutwaledi PA.